afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live here on LFS this Sunday afternoon, and it's the big one. Last season's top two, Arsenal and Manchester City. They face each other for the very first time in the league this season. Arsenal, Manchester City can go both, if with a win, can go back top of the Premier League table this afternoon. Manchester City only won one of 8 away games against the 8 teams that finished below them last season. That was here at the Emirates. Can they conjure back last season's woes of Arsenal and get 3 points here on the road once again, Manchester City? Well, let's find out who's starting for both teams. The teams are as follows. For Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, David Raya starts in goal with Ramsdale still on the bench. That goalkeeping decision still contentious. A back four of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Alexander Zinchenko. A midfield three of Jorginho, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, the captain, with a front three of Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. The bench for Arsenal: Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Kivior, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Partey, Havertz, Nelson and Martinelli. No Bukayo Saka involved at all for Arsenal. For the visiting Manchester City, they're still without the suspended Rodri, so Edison starts in goal. A back four of Kyle Walker, the captain, Ruben Dias, Nathan Ake and Josko Vardiol comes back into defence. In midfield is Mateo Kovacic and Rico Lewis, with an attacking four of Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez and the number 9, Erling Haaland. On the bench for Manchester City, Ortega, Akanji, Stones, Nunez, Phillips, Gomez, Bob, Doku and Grealish. Strong benches here today for both teams. Who can come out on top in this highly anticipated fixture, which Manchester City got 6 points out of a possible 6 last season? Can they get off to a winning start in this fixture this season? Arsenal against Manchester City. Kickoff is next. Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live for one of the biggest games of this early part of the season. Last season's top two, the title race for last season that ended quite abruptly for Arsenal in the last few weeks. That Manchester City got a grasp of another Premier League trophy. Arsenal are looking to do that this season. 19 years since they last had their hands on a Premier League title. And Manchester City are the ones to beat, it seems, if you want to lift that trophy in May. Arsenal are looking to get an early advantage with them unbeaten this season, and Manchester City coming off a Premier League defeat away at Wolves last weekend. They haven't lost back-to-back league games in over 5 years, Manchester City. 2018 was the last time that they lost back-to-back league games against anyone, really. Well, Arsenal, Manchester City, Guardiola against Arteta. The storyline has been written so many times, and Pep Guardiola has got the better of Mikel Arteta time and time again, as Arsenal have been beaten by Manchester City time and time again. Well, the players will take a knee in unison in saying that there is no room for discrimination of any kind in today's games. And we are underway then for this huge fixture at the Emirates. A side that haven't graced defeat this season, and a side that were beaten in their last league outing. If you had to put these two teams up and read those statements out, you would probably put Arsenal as the team beaten, but they're the unbeaten side alongside their North London rivals Tottenham, the only two teams in the league without a defeat this season. Well, an early goal kick then for David Raya to take, as City played the ball in behind, but it went for a goal kick, which David Raya will now take. He does go long. Jesus wins the first header, trying to flick it on. Vardiol heads it back the way it came. Brought down by White. Jesus trying to feed in and catch it, and Ake goes back to Edison, who fires it long this time. Saliba winning the first header. Jesus trying to battle for it. Kovacic. Vardiol plays a lovely ball to find Lewis. Now Walker. Bernardo Silva. We'll just take it down and give City a bit of breathing room early in this one. Don't forget there's NFL action currently underway. The NFL London games at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Buffalo Bills. It is currently the Jaguars 11-7 up against the Bills at the moment in that one, into the final 9.5 minutes of the third quarter in that one. And we'll keep you to date with anything that happens in that, touchdowns or field goals of any sort. Here's Rico Lewis for City, who is preferred to Calvin Phillips in midfield today, of course, Rico Lewis. Calvin Phillips thought he got his chance when Rodri was suspended, but Pep Guardiola opts against Calvin Phillips tonight. Free kick given there. Nathan Ake taken out by Gabriel Jesus, so a free kick will go City's way early on here. Which they've taken. Here's Diaz. All the way back to Edison. City playing it with Silva. Now Ake. Down the line is Vardiol. Gives it to Foden, who lays it off to Kovacic. And now City just playing the ball about. Down the other end comes Walker. Infield to Rico Lewis. Back to Bernardo Silva. Lewis. Out wide to Walker. Back to Diaz. Manchester City just taking their time, getting those passes, getting comfortable with the ball early on. That's a really good challenge by Gabriel though. Wins it back, and Jorginho plays it back to David Raya, who gives it to Ben White. Back to Raya. Under pressure from Foden is Raya, but goes straight out from the back. Gives it away as Vardiol is pressing. Vardiol tries to play it across, but Rice is there to intercept and win it back for Arsenal, but then put out an awful ball to try and find the former Manchester City player Zinchenko, but completely overhit it there, Rice, and City will get the throw in on the right hand side. And the throw in's taken. Rice with the defensive header that Zinchenko tried to stop from going behind for the corner, but the ball had already gone over the byline. Corner to Manchester City then early on here. Bit of an error there from Declan Rice, puts his team under a bit of pressure early on here. That's what City will be hoping that they can do, is put early pressure on Arsenal. Foden with a corner, whipped it in. Back post, played across off the line. Off the line by Declan Rice. Kept alive by City, flicked on by Haaland. And a big chance for Ake. Over the bar. Two huge chances for City. The first from the corner. Phil Foden, left-footed, right to the back post. Met the left foot of Josko Vardiol. Comes off the line off Declan Rice. City keep it alive. Flicked on by Haaland. And Ake made the run in behind at the back post. And he just couldn't keep it down, Nathan Ake. And that one was over the bar. Two big chances for City early on to take the lead. And neither could find the back of the net. Trossard on the counter for Arsenal. Here's Jesus, and he will win his side a throw-in off Josko Vardiol. Energetic start then. Throw-in ticking quickly. Jorginho. Saliba. Zinchenko. Covered off there by Haaland, who's holding the space there. Jorginho. Tries to play it forward, hits it off Kovacic. Former teammates, of course, Jorginho and Kovacic, both at Chelsea at one point. And both went their separate ways, and one at Arsenal, one at City. Jorginho trying to intercept City's play, but his interception goes straight through to Edison, who will pick it back up for Manchester City again. will get involved in the chat. This is one of the biggest games of the season so far. Arsenal, Manchester City. Who will come out on top this afternoon? Highly anticipated game, and we want action and drama. That's what we love to see. We've already seen some crazy drama in the early game between Brighton and Liverpool. A dramatic game that ended in a tight draw, very even between the two sides. Neither side could eke each other out and get the win. City playing it round at the back, and throw-in is given to City. The Arsenal fans thought they'd want to throw in. Walker touched it last, but the ball had already gone over the line, so Walker will get the throw-in here. By the way, just to let you know about refereeing situations, I mentioned it in the last game about who was the referee. The referee for this one is arguably the most experienced referee in the league, Michael Oliver. And the VAR this afternoon is John Brooks. Last touch of a City player there is Kovacic, and that'll be an Arsenal throw-in. On the right-hand side here, Ben White to take. Lots of City bodies around the place. Arsenal have to go backwards towards Saliba. Declan Rice. Across to William Saliba again. Has to go back to Gabriel. A slight change in kind of formation from Arsenal, as we've seen, than what we've seen early in the season. That's a poor giveaway by Zinchenko. Gives it straight to City. Nketiah on the press to win it back, but Diaz giving it back to Edison. Now across to Ake. Down the line is Gvardiol. Almost beating the challenge is Jesus, but Jesus wins it back. Arsenal can't keep the ball though as Ake fires it long. Haaland to chase. Ward. Awkward bounce there for Saliba initially, but he does work it out and does well against Erling Haaland, does Saliba. Now Arsenal can find the space down the left. Here's Alexander Zinchenko. Has to go backwards. As I was saying, a bit of a switch in that midfield for Arsenal. They've been a bit unbalanced. They've tried Kai Havertz, Fabio Vieira playing that third midfielder role alongside Rice and Odegaard, but Jorginho gets that kind of spot this afternoon, and they're playing two defensive midfielders with an attacking midfielder, which I think suits them. That's a lovely ball. Finds Jesus on the right hand side. Jesus driving into the box. Gabriel Jesus trying to play it across, and Gvardiol there defensively had to put it behind for the corner. It was a lovely ball initially by Leandro Trossard to find the run of Jesus down the right hand side. Of course, with no Saka today for Arsenal, Jesus is occupying that right wing position. And Nketiah through the middle and Trossard on the left. And Arsenal have a corner. Odegaard to take. Usually Saka takes them, but Odegaard deputising in his position this afternoon for those corners. Taking his time, Martin Odegaard. Putting the signal up, readying to take the corner. Left-footed in, swinging corner it will be. Whips it in. Right across. Flicked on. Half cleared by City. Foden can't get it away properly. Bouncing around on the edge of the City box. They're all bouncing to try and clear it. And City do clear it, but Arsenal back on the ball with Saliba. Here is Jorginho. Ball over the top. White makes the run beyond. Ben White trying to cross it. It does get past Gvardiol in the boxes, and Nketiah falls to Odegaard. Odegaard lays it across. Jorginho. Now to the left is Zinchenko. Building here, Arsenal. It's nice football. Jorginho out wide to White again, but this time White is offside. Gets a bit too excited and goes a bit early there, Ben White. Technique seems to work at the moment. It was just level there, I would say. I'd say he's just on, actually. It looks like the man at the back post, maybe Ruben Diaz, was actually playing him on, but it was a tight one. You can see why the assistant gave it. It was really tight. 10 minutes gone already. First 10 minutes have flew by in this game. Arsenal 0, City 0. Here's Gvardiol under pressure. Ake winning it. Finding Foden. Foden up against Jorginho, who gets really physical there, Jorginho, and he'll get an early booking here. The Arsenal midfielder for pulling down Phil Foden on the break. And Mikel Arteta just having a word with his midfielder there, Jorginho. Really experienced player. And Phil Foden just uses his burst of pace to get past Jorginho, and Jorginho just couldn't recover it, had to take him down, and had to get the yellow card for that, as he did. Here's Edison. Flicks it out. Well won in the middle. That's lovely by Gabriel. Feeds it forward for Trossard. Trossard against Walker. Trossard beats off Walker. Has to go backwards. Zinchenko. Better from Arsenal. They look up for this. I like to see that. Here's Gabriel. Zinchenko. Saliba. Back across to Gabriel. City putting the press on and forcing Arsenal back into their own half. Saliba. Gabriel has to go back to David Raya. City done well at pushing Arsenal back into their own final third, really. Their own defensive third. Long ball from Raya. Will give the ball back to Manchester City, and Edison will pick it up. Diaz. Back to Edison. Well, we talk about City's dominance league-wise. They've a complete dominance in this fixture over the years. The last time Arsenal did beat City was in the FA Cup, which was back in 2020. That was the last time Arsenal did beat City in any competition. The last time they got a league win against Manchester City, you have to go all the way back to December 2015 when Arsenal did beat City here 2-1. And in that one, that's the last league win for Arsenal against City, almost 8 years ago. They probably have one of their best opportunities to beat City here this afternoon with no Rodri. Oh, Jorginho and Raya playing it around at the back there. Gabriel has to clear it, taking no risks. Good first header by Ake. Brought down nicely by Walker. Back to Diaz. Now Nathan Ake. Okay, to Kovacic. Bernardo Silva. Kovacic again. Just holding their ground at the moment, City. Holding the possession. Well, Arsenal have had an incredible start to the season. You know, we talked about last season how they had an unbelievable start and started storming the league early on, really. But we talk about how they've started this season, winning the Community Shield and then going on a run of an unbeaten run so far in the league. Their first defeat of the season only came in midweek in the Champions League away at Lens. That was their first defeat of the season. They've only dropped points twice in the league this season. Home draws against Fulham and Tottenham. But all the rest have been wins against Forest, Palace, Man United, Everton, PSV, Brentford, Bournemouth, and then that defeat to Lens puts them in this position right here with 5 wins and 2 draws from their first 7 Premier League games. Similar in that kind of fashion for Manchester City, really. From their start to the season, only 1 defeat from their opening 7, 6 wins and 1 defeat. They won all of their first 6 games, Manchester City. And that defeat to Wolves was their first defeat of the season, of course. Or first league defeat of the season, apologies. Their first defeat of the season was Newcastle in the Cup last midweek. 15 minutes gone then, 0-0. Manchester City controlling the possession a bit more now. Tempo of the game has slowed down quite a bit. Lewis goes back to Ruben Diaz. Bernardo Silva. Silva. Diaz. Through to Rico Lewis. Back to Nathan Ake. Bernardo Silva finds Ruben Dias. Bit of space here for Alvarez to break through. Jorginho on the press and winning it twice, but then goes down and loses out to Alvarez. Now the cross from Walker from the right hand side is into the hands of David Raya. Said he just found that bit of space and kind of forced it on Arsenal. And Arsenal dealt with it really well in the end. Had bodies across and were defensively quite solid there. Gabriel through to Rice, out wide to Zinchenko. Forced back to Gabriel. And Raya. Oh! Almost for Julian Alvarez. David Raya, around about a yard or two from his own byline. Luckily, he was wide of his goal, because if he was in front of his goal, Julian Alvarez would have put City 1-0 up. He tried to play it out. Raya, he waited far too long. Alvarez on the press, just got the last touch on it. But far too casual at the back there from David Raya. They want to play it out from the back. They need to do it quicker, Arsenal. They know that press is going to come from City. Gabriel. Rice. Right to Saliba. Long ball forward. Finds Gabriel Jesus, who is taken down there by Josko Vardiol. And Arsenal will get the free kick. Well, we've seen that before from City's point of view, where they've had goalkeeping errors like that, but the goalkeeping situation has been a hot topic at Arsenal in recent weeks, since David Raya replaced Aaron Ramsdale, really. And Mikel Arteta himself made it a big deal. Spoke about rotating goalkeepers. But it seems like he really just wants to give David Raya the number 1 shirt, really. That's what it seems. With him having the most goalkeeping minutes this season for Arsenal. Jorginho with the free kick, and Nketiah wins the first header, but Josko Vardiol clears it away. Jorginho wins it back and brings it down in the middle. It's good work from Arsenal again. Gabriel. Saliba. Zinchenko, apologies. Odegaard hasn't really seen very much of the ball the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Here's Saliba. White. Back to William Saliba. And across to Raya. Now Gabriel. Raya. City on the press. Arsenal at the back with Ben White. Saliba pinning them right in here, City. Haaland on the press on Saliba, but Saliba plays it out. Gets it to Jesus, who's marked by 3 City players. He still somehow tries to get it away, but City win it back. Vardiol plays it to Dias. Dias foraying forward, but tries to play the ball over the top and completely miscued that one. Ruben Dias. Goal kick to Arsenal. Not one of his best. Alright. Just rolls it to Gabriel, who was taking that kick. Very strange. Here is David Raya then. Taking his time. Arsenal fans getting a bit impatient. You can hear a few jeers. Not really jeers, but a bit whistling, a bit of impatience. It has been a bit of a slow game so far. It's lacked real tempo early on. Long ball from the back from Walker. Foden on the run. Just evaded Foden that ball. They're trying to move it a bit quicker. Odegaard trying to get past Bernardo Silva, who challenged. Vardiol on the ball. Rice comes and nicks it. Finds it to Odegaard. Tries to play it through, but got a bit excited there, Martin Odegaard, and played it far too early. Nowhere near Nketiah getting there. And City have it back with Diaz. Edison. Across to Ake. Foden. Coming deeper. Kovacic. Foden again. Vardiol. City moving it a bit quicker. Arsenal pressing it a bit more now. It's a bit better, this. 21 minutes gone. 0-0 at the Emirates. Bernardo Silva. Lewis. Out to Walker. Back infield to Ruben Diaz again. Rico Lewis in a pocket of space. Finds it to Bernardo Silva. Well, short pass there by Kovacic, but Bernardo Silva did make it work. Got it to Ake. Vardiol. Back to Ake. Inside the Arsenal half now. Foden. Plays it back off to Ake. Very stationary at the moment, but that's a lovely ball. Finds Vardiol in a bit of space. Vardiol looking for the cross. Blocked by Saliba. Vardiol has it back, switches it across, but that one's a bit wayward. That was a nice idea. Vardiol on the run down the left. Because they were a bit stationary everywhere else, City. That's well stepped in by Rice, and then the challenge on Eddie Nketiah by Bernardo Silva, and he gets booked. So both players, or both teams, have one player in the book early on, and Bernardo Silva is penalised for that challenge on Eddie Nketiah. Better from Arsenal. Good anticipation from Declan Rice. Spotted the pass and intercepted it. Done that a couple of times, Declan Rice. And Rice will take this free kick then. Lays it off to Gabriel. Back to Rice. Gabriel again. Rice. Halfway through the first half. 0-0. Have we even had a shot on target yet? We have. Oh, they've given it away, Arsenal. Here's Bernardo Silva. Silva trying to break through. Alvarez with a cross. Half cleared by Rice. Still alive by Alvarez. And plays it through. Lewis. And that one will just come to David Raya, who can catch. But Arsenal a bit tentative there. Raya playing it through. Rice can't get on the end of it. Kovacic wins it back for City. And then Bernardo Silva lays it off. Alvarez looking for the cross. And that one followed up and all the way finds it through to Raya again. But just reminds Arsenal not to be too casual. Can't lose any sort of concentration against City. They can punish it at any given moment. Jorginho. Gabriel. Jorginho. Going for the long one, trying to find the run of Eddie Nketiah, but Ruben Diaz got the better of that one. Headed it down and on to Kyle Walker. He has the captain's armband for Manchester City this afternoon, Kyle Walker. Long ball from Diaz, too much for Haaland to get on the end of, but a bit of a collision there with Haaland and Gabriel, and Arsenal have it back. Jorginho. Zinchenko. Down the left for Trossard. It's closely watched by Alvarez. Has to go back to Zinchenko. Jorginho. Zinchenko again. Ødegaard, lovely turn from Martin Ødegaard. Gives it out wide to Jesus. Jesus on the right hand side. Can he find the overlap? No, he has to go back to Ødegaard. Ben White was on the overlap. Jesus. Jorginho. Flicking it over the top. Lovely control by Jesus. But he deemed to have fouled the City player in the process, and that'll be a Man City free kick. See that again. I think it's a bit of a... nothing really much in that. Yeah, actually there is. There's a push in the back of Phil Foden there from Gabriel Jesus. And that is a fair decision by the referee. So free kick Man City. Some slight glimpses from Arsenal. Mostly down the right hand side. We've seen the best of their attacks. Gabriel Jesus and Ben White linking up. Ødegaard also helping out, but that's been where Arsenal have got the most joy so far, but not a shot on target to show for it just yet. But still quite an even game, a competitive game so far in the first 25 minutes. Just lacking the attack, really. Ball forward, lovely touch by Nketiah. Nketiah into the box here, Nketiah with a strike! Just wide. A lovely first touch by Eddie Nketiah. They get it down the left-hand side. I think it's Zinchenko that plays the ball in behind. It's a gorgeous first touch by Eddie Nketiah. And then he gets it in the box, tries to chop under his right foot, trying to find the space to open up the strike, and just takes it, but blasts right through the back of it, and it just goes wide of the right post rather than curling it towards goal. That's better from Arsenal. They thought they'd won it back there, but Rico Lewis was fouled. And Nketiah committing that one. So another free kick to go Man City's way. 26.5 minutes gone. Arsenal starting to show a bit more in attack in the last couple of minutes. Here's Ake. A high press from Martin Odegaard, and that goes out for a City throw. And he's trying to get the crowd up. Trying to get the crowd behind them. It's gone a bit flat, really. The lack of tempo in the game kind of silenced the whole crowd. Never mind just the home crowd, and Martin Odegaard and his gestures have got the home crowd up. Jesus, lovely to win it back. Nketiah, nice touch by Jorginho. Gives it out wide for Zinchenko. Zinchenko on the left. Can he whip a ball? And he does so. Half cleared by Diaz. Brought down by White. Jesus on the right hand side. Has to go backwards to Rice, or to Jorginho, sorry. Here's Saliba. Better from Arsenal. Jorginho. Saliba. Jorginho again. White. Arsenal getting a bit more control on the ball. Making nice passes. That's a late challenge by Kovacic on Martin Odegaard, and the card is coming out, but it's only yellow. It was a really late one from Mateo Kovacic. Say it again. Odegaard, the ball's already gone. The studs are up, to be fair. Studs are up, and it does hit the right ankle of Martin Odegaard. Odegaard's still in a lot of pain here. And VAR were checking. They were, I believe, checking for a red card. But I think that's come to an end because Michael Oliver's just given a yellow card. But they are still checking it, actually. I think that's really late. I think studs are up here. Studs are up and they connect. I think John Brooks, the VAR, should have a case and ask Michael Oliver to go to the screen, because I think that Mateo Kovacic's challenge, his right foot studs up right into the inside of the ankle of Martin Odegaard. It's a really late challenge. The ball is nowhere near him, but I think they should go to the screen. No. Well, VAR have ruled it. I've said no. I think that's a lucky one. Mateo Kovacic is so lucky to not get a red card. That challenge is so dangerous. Conversations will continue, and when you see the replay of it, it is it's not the worst challenge in the world, but his studs are up and it connects with Martin Odegaard's right ankle. We've seen red cards given for much lighter challenges in the past. City are lucky to get away with one. White to take the free kick then. Nketiah chesting it down, but City win it back through Kovacic, who arguably shouldn't be on the pitch, but nonetheless, that's lovely from Jesus, though. Past Vardiol, goes down, and Jesus now holding, and will get the free kick. Gabriel Jesus, he's holding kind of his torso area here. It's got a bit bitty, this game. See it, Jesus. It is a challenge by Josko Vardiol, but it is a free kick, but nothing more. I think the crowd have got a bit excited. There. That is a free kick and nothing more, really. Definitely not like the first challenge, the Kovacic one. Martin Odegaard has a free kick then. 30 minutes gone. 0-0. Arsenal have a chance to whip a ball in from the right-hand side to test that City defence. They conceded 2 against Wolves. The strongest defence in the league. 5 goals conceded. Odegaard whips one in. Straight on Edison, who drops it, but he catches it at the second time of asking there. Tried to pin all the pressure on the goalkeeper. It almost worked out for Arsenal, but just a bit too much height on that one. Just took it away from any Arsenal player trying to break into the box there. And City come out of that one unscathed. Foden getting the last touch off Ben White. City will win the throw-in on the left-hand side. I am sure we will have a half-time check, because I am still in disbelief as to how Mateo Kovacic hasn't been sent off, and it's only a yellow card. I'm surprised, really surprised, but there will be more conversations to go on at half-time. Here's Erling Haaland, first involvement of the day surely. Bernardo Silva spreading the ball wide for Walker. Walker down the right-hand side. Kyle Walker up against Zinchenko, former teammates, finds it into the box. Rice clears it away. And that will run. Nketiah trying to win the challenge. But Ruben Dias will get the throw-in. And the Arsenal crowd loving the endeavour from their centre-forward. Here's Bernardo Silva for City. Bernardo Silva. Foden. Ake all the way back to Edison again. We've had glimpses of real attacking action and some drama so far, but nothing in terms of goal scoring as of yet. Here's Bernardo Silva. Back to Edison. Long ball from the back from Edison, looking for the run of Haaland. Lovely first touch by Haaland. Takes it down, spreads it for Alvarez. Alvarez with a strike. High and really high, that one from Julian Alvarez into the stands. A lovely first touch by Erling Haaland. He took a really good touch to take it away from the defender that was marking him there, Gabriel, and just laid it off for Julian Alvarez, who took the strike from distance, but probably should have made another decision because that wasn't the correct one. Goal kick Arsenal. It's David Raya. Well, I'm sure both managers will see the positives from their side's performances so far, but would want more from them in terms of attacking areas. It's probably the key kind of improvement that both teams need. Here's Rice under pressure instantly. That's another late challenge by Kovacic. The referee instantly saying no second yellow, but that's another time that Mateo Kovacic has put in a late challenge. He's already on a yellow card. Should have been sent off for the first one. Oh my God. It's exactly the same. He has to go. He's done it again. Mateo Kovacic has put in a late challenge. How he is not off the pitch, I do not know. The first one was a red card and he was given a yellow card. The second one is definitely a second yellow, never mind a red, and he's still on the pitch. I'm baffled as to how he's still on the pitch. How VAR haven't intervened and done something about this. Wow. Jesus trying to battle it. Win it off Josko Vardiol, but the last touch is off a City player. Arsenal win the corner. City a bit really lacking concentration at the moment. A bit frantic for Man City. Not as composed as they usually are. Phil Foden nursing a bit of an issue there, but he's back up on his feet and will be fine. City had thought they'd won the goal kick. Jesus got past. Yeah, he did put his hand in the face of Foden there, but totally accidental there from Jesus. City have a corner to defend though. Martin Ødegaard to take this one. On the right hand side. Ødegaard, left footed ball, whipped in, right into the box front post. Half cleared by City. Brought down by Zinchenko on the edge. Jorginho. Spreading it wide, trying to find Rice. Ødegaard will pick up the loose ball. Back to Jorginho. Has to go back to Raya. Raya will go long, spreading it wide, looking for Ben White. Heads it across. Ben White tried to nick it, was Jesus, and the last touch was off the Brazilian, and that will be a City throw. I am so baffled. We're just going to see the replay, the second Kovacic chance. Rice picks the ball up, Raya plays it straight to Rice, and the late challenge, Rice just plays the pass off, and Kovacic instantly nowhere near the ball again, and it's a late challenge. How Kovacic is still on the pitch is anybody's question, and if someone can give an answer to that, I will be shocked as to how they can give me an answer other than he should be off the pitch. Baffling. Lovely ball by Raya out from the back. Jesus on the right flank. Plays it across, misplaced it, but it will fall for Jorginho. Jorginho on the edge. Trossard trying to battle, but took too long. Rice can't break it apart. Haaland, though, does play it off Rice, and White will win it back. Saliba. Now Jesus. Overlapping is Ben White. And Josko Vardiol has the last touch to clear it away. City under a bit of the cosh at the moment. Arsenal, the momentum is in their favour. Ben White to take the throw in. 7.5 minutes of the first half plus additional time to go. Still 0-0 here at the Emirates. But it's Arsenal that seem to have the better of it at the minute. White with a throw in. Jesus makes a run in behind. Ødegaard in the box, cuts it back. Trossard takes the strike, blocked. Zinchenko blocked again. Rico Lewis to carry it away for City. Haaland to go on the break, but Saliba does well against him. That's really strong defending by William Saliba. And Arsenal have the ball back. It's actually fascinating to see City under pressure for once. They have such an easy ride of it when they have so much of the ball usually, but Arsenal are putting it to them today. That's what we love to see. A team not afraid to take it to Man City. And they've done so pretty successfully so far, although they haven't found the back of the net, but they've been so competitive and probably the better side early on. White, forward to Jesus. Jesus got the better of Josko Vardiol. Ødegaard trying to flick it into the box. Kovacic breaking it apart. Foden. Lewis trying to be holding it up, does well actually. Finds Haaland. Haaland on the break. Gives it out wide to Alvarez. Walker on the overlap. Alvarez looking to cross it in. Lovely clearance by Gabriel. And Arsenal carry it away again. Rice. The crowd behind them, they want them to move it quickly. Jorginho, and then cleared away by Zinchenko, but Ake will pick it back up. Kovacic. Bernardo Silva. That's another actual interesting point. With Kovacic on a yellow card, would Pep Guardiola be thinking about swapping Kovacic out maybe? At half time probably will be the earliest he would do it. He wouldn't make a half time change in the first half. That would be catastrophic. But he counts himself very, very lucky, Kovacic, that he isn't off here. And I'm sure Pep Guardiola will be lucky when he sees be happy when he sees the replay. Josko Vardiol with a cross. Haaland was almost in, but Zinchenko was just there and kind of put Haaland off, it seems. Threaded through beautifully. Foden, and then Vardiol on the overlap whips a ball in. Haaland just can't get above the ball. Can't get away from it. I think Gabriel might have got a touch in there, and the last touch was off Zinchenko. And out for the corner, but massive again. Really close from City. Now Arsenal have a corner to defend. Foden to take from the right hand side. Whips it in. Right across. Headed away by Saliba. Picked up again by Vardiol. He's blocked off that time by Jorginho, who's tracking him all the way back. And Vardiol has to go back all the way to Edison. It's really good, strong defending by Arsenal. Vardiol. His ball to Ake. Forces Ake long. Saliba and White all the way back to Raya. Lovely. I've been really, really impressed by Arsenal in this first half. On the ball, they've looked so calm, so composed, playing nice football. City just look a bit rattled at the moment, really. They still have so much quality that even with them being rattled, they could still carve you open in a second. Jesus trying to go for the 1-2 with White, but Ake has that avenue covered over. And Nketiah on the press. Edison gives it to Foden, who's instantly pressed, but Kovacic wins it. Here's Bernardo Silva. Ruben Dias. Said he just need to take the tempo out of this game again, like they did in the early minutes. Took the tempo away from it. Really denied Arsenal a lot of the ball for a long time, City, but the last 10-15 minutes Arsenal have probably been the better team. But so far City unscathed by that, still 0-0. Here's Kovacic. I have to count himself the luckiest man in London at the moment, Mateo Kovacic. Ake. Kovacic again. Bernardo Silva. Said he's playing it around like they always do, just patiently waiting for any sort of opening where they can conjure up a real proper attacking opportunity. Into the last 2 minutes of the first 45 here at the Emirates, and we still stand at 0-0. Both teams having a few good chances, but Arsenal still yet to have a shot on target though. Here's Kovacic trying to spread it forward for Lewis, but that one's misplaced and Zinchenko will pick it up. He'll drive forward with it, gives it to Trossard. Infield to Jorginho, nice touch, finds Ødegaard. Ødegaard to Jesus on the right hand side. Infield to Jorginho. Arsenal now have the ball with Gabriel. Rice. Back across to William Saliba. That's a tiny bit of space to run into. Goes against that. Plays it across to Jorginho. Now to Gabriel. Down the line is Zinchenko. Down the left hand side. Plays it forward for Trossard. Trossard to Rice. Now Trossard again. Lovely ball. Feinted ball through for Nketiah, who keeps the possession. Jorginho. Now White. Last minute of the 45. Jesus, back to Ben White. Arsenal calm and patient in possession as well. Waiting for their moment. Ødegaard breaking into the space. Gives it out wide to Jesus. White on the overlap, but Jesus goes back infield to Jorginho. Now Ødegaard, who got the break of the ball. And Nketiah plays it through, but he's in an offside position there, Eddie Nketiah. So the flag has gone up and City will get the free kick. Probably should have left that for Ødegaard, who was in an onside position really. Bukayo Saka not involved this afternoon. He's made 5 goals and 5 assists in 10 appearances in all competitions this season. It's been a massive part of Arsenal's attack all season and even last season, scoring some crucial goals in big games. But they won't have him as an option this afternoon. Not involved whatsoever. We will have 2 additional minutes at the end of this half then. That really sums up the lack of action we've had. Probably the VAR check is the only stoppage, the longer stoppage that we've had that could add the additional time on. Diaz. Walker. Lewis. Rico Lewis. Back to Ruben Diaz. Walker trying to find it to Foden, but intercepted that time. Stepping in was Gabriel, and he won the free kick for Arsenal. Both Arsenal centre-backs have been really strong against the forwards of City, stepping in at the right moments, stepping off at the right moments as well. Their judgment has been perfect in this first half. We'll have this free kick then, Arsenal, just before the half. Raya with a long ball out. And Nketiah with the first header, but that one's out of play for City throw. We have an update from the NFL London game at the moment. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have a touchdown. 18-7, they now lead the Buffalo Bills. That is half-time at the Emirates. A first half where neither team could find the back of the net. It was lacking attacking action, but it certainly had VAR drama, as always in the Premier League in the biggest games. But Mateo Kovacic is not off the pitch. I would love an answer to that. Half-time at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0.
Let me put it that way. I don't think we can use phrases on being like being best or good. It's been scrappy. It's been a midfield battle. We talked about that pre-game. It's everything is it's very tight, played around the centre circle, plus minus 10 yards, and of course when the talking point is 2 missed chances in the first 5 minutes, and then should have been a red card or not. That tells the story of this game, doesn't it?
It does. So half-time, Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0.
Peter Schmeichel, the only thing that would surprise me more than the fact that Kovacic hasn't been sent off yet would be if he were to re-emerge for the second half.
I totally agree. I mean, unless he thinks they're strong enough to win this game or get something out of this game with 10 men, I don't see the point. Kovacic is not a player that he plays in every game anyway, so he might just cut his losses now. And then, I mean, it would be brilliant to see someone like Calvin Phillips on. I don't think he's going to do that, but it's his position. He plays that position for England. He played that for Leeds. It's been absolutely tremendous in doing that. I think he probably will. I mean, my feeling is going to probably put Akanya on and put Walker in midfield instead. Just think keeping it tight at the back and then have that kind of physicality in midfield.
Maybe he'll surprise all of us and Kovacic will come back. We've got this from Tom on 85058. It says, City fan here. Kovacic very lucky not to get a red with the first one. How on earth that second one wasn't a yellow, I don't know. People complain about VAR, but that was a terrible on-field decision. Now, not everyone necessarily will agree with that, Peter, but it is a good point. VAR is the question that people will ask for the first one. For the second one, I suspect quite a few people will wonder how on earth he hasn't got a yellow.
Yeah, so VAR can't do anything about the second one because that's a yellow card. They can't do anything about that. It's only about red cards. So, I mean, it should have been a yellow card for sure. Absolutely, it's nearly as bad as the first tackle. I have no idea what Kovacic is thinking about. It's about 7, 8, 10 yards outside of Arsenal's box. It's in a completely irrelevant area of the pitch. If Declan Rice passes the ball out to, I think it was Ben White, it has no impact, no significance on the game. So he's just been booked. It's gone to VAR for a potential red card. He knows he's on the brink. What on earth is he thinking? I don't know. He's a very, very lucky boy.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree on that. Kovacic staying on for how much longer? We'll wait and see. We'll bring you second half commentary, of course, from here at the Emirates. Pulsating first half. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. At one point, India were 2 for 3 against Australia. But have they just gone and won it, Simon Mann?
Yeah, they've waltzed to victory. They've won by 6 wickets with 8.4 overs to spare, and they've done it in the grand manner as well. KL Rahul hitting Pat Cummins over extra cover for 6. Rahul was 97 not out from 115 balls. They got a wiggle on towards the end. They hit 3 sixes. They were thinking about their net run rate. Hardik Pandya came in and hit a 6 as well. Virat Kohli made 85, a stand of 165 with Rahul, rescuing India from 2 for 3 after Australia were bowled out for 199. The hosts and favourites have started with an emphatic victory over one of their major rivals.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. Right, we'll bring you as much reaction as we possibly can to the 2 o'clock games in the Premier League, and then we'll look ahead to 6:06. The lines will be open shortly. We'll let you know as soon as they are. Much more Premier League to come after the latest news on 5 Live with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Israel's military says it will restore security to its people.
We will do whatever it takes to protect our people and restore security to Israel.
At least 600 people are now known to have died after an attack by Hamas militants. Yesterday's assault was the largest by Palestinian forces for decades. In the last hour, the Israeli Defense Force held a press conference warning it will find Hamas militants hiding in Israel and Gaza. Daniel Hagari from the IDF also has a warning for those who support the group's activity.
Israeli intelligence indicates that Hamas are hiding among Gazan civilians inside Gazan homes and schools, hospitals and mosques. Hamas behaves like ISIS. I repeat, Hamas behaves like ISIS. It's the same strategy to maximize civilian casualties in Gaza and Israel and make you all forget the massacre of hundreds of Israelis that started this war in the first place. We will not forget. Hamas terrorists target Israeli civilians. Israel will target Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists wherever they will be in Gaza.
Well, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been speaking to world leaders, including the UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak today. And in the last few minutes, Rishi Sunak has said that he's told Benjamin Netanyahu that the UK will stand with Israel against these acts of terror. Says 370 people there have been killed by Israeli airstrikes. Israel has now cut off electricity, food and fuel supplies to Gaza. The BBC's Rushdie Abu Alouf is in the Gaza city.
Today they started to feel the reality that it's a war, and war, people in this poor, densely populated place, they knew well what war would mean for them. Back in 2014 there was a war for about 50 days, and now with the electricity supplies not working, internet, Israel shut all of the border around Gaza, and there is a fear of very soon we will have some sort of serious humanitarian crisis if food and medicine and electricity don't come to these 2.3 million people here.
It's been confirmed a British man has died in Israel. Nathaniel Young from London was working for the Israeli Armed Forces. Another British man, Jake Marlowe, who was working as security at a music festival, is also missing. Israel claims more than 100 civilians and soldiers are being held hostage by Palestinian militants. Amit Papara thinks his friend is one of those after seeing her on a video being taken to Gaza Strip. He says security forces need to act quickly.
Time is of the essence, and this is our main priority right now, getting people back home safely as soon as possible before it's too late. All of the acting up that is now happening is from civilians, private groups that are combined together to help the people get back together.
Here, the Home Secretary says she expects police to use the full force of the law against displays of support for Hamas in the UK. Last night, video shared on social media appeared to show people in London celebrating the group's attack on Israel. There's a full coverage of this over on the BBC News website, where there's analysis of the story as well. In other news, briefly, Labour's Deputy Leader Angela Rayner has promised what she called a new deal for working people to increase wages and make work more secure if the party wins the next general election. And Boris Johnson's former wife, the barrister Marina Wheeler, has been appointed as Labour's advisor on protecting women against workplace harassment. The party says she'll look at how to make it easier for workers to blow the whistle on bullying and discrimination at work.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0 here at the Emirates. Second half commentary on the way. Already today, Brighton-Liverpool ended 2-2 in our first commentary match on 5 Live. Lewis Dunk equalising for Brighton. Here's the moment things went wrong for Jurgen Klopp.
With 2-1 up and producing that many set pieces, that was the problem. When Mitoma, I don't know who else, Solly March came there as well, of course, came there, so everybody was like walking through, and we always had to put a foot in, and in the end we were always a bit late, so that's something we have to improve. That amount of set pieces is really tricky to defend them all, and we defended them nearly all. If we scored the third one, we would have deserved to win. No, we didn't, and that means I think it's the right result.
Roberto De Zerbi, by the way, said afterwards he thinks even though Brighton, in his opinion, were the better team, them conceding so many goals is his responsibility. West Ham Newcastle also finished 2-2. Eddie Howe's team were winning until the 89th minute. With the number of matches that his team are playing in Europe, he says these drop points are expensive.
Yeah, we're disappointed because we worked so hard to get ourselves back into that game. We started poorly by our standards, a bit of fatigue from the midweek games, I think, and although we prepared for it and tried to not have that in our game, it was there, it was evident, but what a response second half. I thought the players were magnificent, and yeah, we're kicking ourselves that we haven't won the game.
You mentioned the fatigue in the first half, Eddie, but it was so much more in terms of energy in the second half. What did you say at half time to get your players back in the mood?
I said lots, but I think that goes to show psychology is just as important to physical fatigue. There's mental fatigue, and for me, maybe then the first half has to go down as mental fatigue, and so the stuff to learn from. These are new experiences for us. The amount of games, the high profile nature of the games, and then dealing with them and then coming back into the Premier League is difficult. I have to compliment the players today because it's been very easy to come out even more negative in the second half, but what a response, and I was desperate for the players, for all that they gave, that we won the game, but it wasn't to be.
The other game finished Aston Villa 1. I'll try that again. Wolves 1, Aston Villa 1. Molyneux, 08085 909 693. You can get your calls in right now for 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Afternoon, Rob.
Afternoon, Steve. Interested in listening to Eddie Howe there. Didn't West Ham play on Thursday in Freiburg?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's got a lot of football, haven't they? I'll tell you what, yeah. I absolutely guarantee, regardless of what's happened already today, regardless of what happens in the next 45 minutes, you're going to be talking about Kovacic and that non-red card.
Yeah, listen, I've not heard the commentary, John and Peter, but really interested. Listen, the first one for me, whatever the situation, Kovacic should not be on the pitch. Whether the first one's a straight red or a yellow, it's definitely a yellow, which the ref gave, but the second challenge is definitely a yellow. So whatever the situation, Kovacic should not be on the pitch. It's huge moments. Michael Oliver, should have given him a second yellow at least if he didn't think, and the VAR didn't think the first challenge was a red.
Hello, welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time between Arsenal and Man City, nothing between them, 0-0 it stands at the moment. They're just coming back out for the second half at the Emirates. Then, bit of confusion in the NFL. There was a touchdown that was given again, the penalty was given against, and they now do have the touchdown, the Buffalo Bills, so they're still back in the game. 18-13 in that one, so still a very close game into the last 3.5 minutes of the final quarter, getting very tight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Very tight here between Arsenal and Manchester City at the Emirates as we come into the second half. The Arsenal players just re-emerging for the second 45. That controversial possible sending off for Mateo Kovacic. Let's just have a look at it. This is the second one where I said he should have a second yellow. That's all I'm going to say. Just leave that picture up there. You make your mind up. I say that's a second yellow card. Well, he's back out on the pitch, by the way. There was a lot of conversations as to whether Mateo Kovacic would return to the pitch, but Pep Guardiola hasn't taken him off, so he's back on, and he will play from the start of the second half. Arsenal, on the other hand, have made a change the other way, and Gabriel Martinelli is coming on, and he has replaced Leandro Trossard, which, by the way, we're hearing was pre-planned by Mikel Arteta. And we're back on the way then for the second 45 here. Hopefully we can get the deadlock broken and get some goals in this second half. That's what the first half lacked completely. Any attacking threat, any finishing really level in attack. Here's Bernardo Silva for City. Walker trying to find Alvarez on the run. Gabriel back to his keeper, who was highly pressed in the first half, and Alvarez tried it again, but Raya was quick to that. And then got it to Jesus, who wins a throw-in. We'll keep a close eye on Mateo Kovacic. He is walking a tightrope, the tightest tightrope that we've ever seen. He loses out there is Bernardo Silva. Odegaard wins it, gives it out wide to Jesus. Driving in field, Jesus finds Nketiah. Heavy first touch. Allows City to recover partially. Here's Jorginho. Zinchenko. Down the left is Martinelli for his first foray forward of the game. Martinelli. Trossard did okay in the first half. Martinelli holds it up, gives it to Zinchenko. Out wide for Martinelli again. Alvarez covering him over. Comes in field, Martinelli whips it across to the back post. And Jesus was at the back post, but just missed his head and went behind for a goal kick. But that's lovely for Martinelli. Just driving in field, whips a ball right across into the box. And Gabriel Jesus is there at the back post. It just evades his head. Just went too early. There's Jesus and couldn't get high enough to try and get the connection to it. Positive from Arsenal. Edison across to Ruben Dias, who's pinned in but plays it out. Only giving it away to Zinchenko though. Odegaard. Now Jorginho. Ben White on the right hand side. To Jesus. Gabriel Jesus. Trying to play it across. Vardiol did get the connection and won it. Then Jesus tried to win it back, but City trying to clear their lines and Arsenal blocking it and putting it out for the throw-in. Good early pressing from Arsenal. Mikel Arteta watching the iPad on the sidelines there, going over a few tactical things with his coaches. Vardiol to take the throw-in for City. And he completely miskicks it from the second ball, and Arsenal will get the throw in now. Which gets a right cheer from that crowd on that near side. Here's Ben White to take this throw in for Arsenal. Finding Jesus, who flicks it on. And Nketiah was almost there, but Edison came charging out and got the catch on the ball. And has the ball now for Manchester City. Arsenal haven't kept a clean sheet against Man City in 9 straight games. City haven't kept a clean sheet against Arsenal in 3 straight games, which means both teams have scored in all of the last 4 of the last 5 meetings between each other. They're both yet to find the back of the net yet. Here's Jorginho, finds Zinchenko. Now down to Rice on the left. Declan Rice beating past Alvarez, finds Nketiah. Nketiah on the edge on the left and hits it off Kyle Walker and wins Arsenal a corner. Lovely that. Really good to see Declan Rice driving forward as well, getting into those attacking areas, helping out the attack. So known as a deep-lying midfielder, but he can play that role too in more attacking areas. They now have a corner. Left-hand side Arsenal. Martinelli to take. Right-footed in-swinger. Whipped in right on the 6-yard line. Right across. Bouncing around the box. Down away. White. Ødegaard. Over the bar. City didn't get it away. Really deep. Right on the goalkeeper. I think it was Gabriel got a header that flicked it to the back post for Jesus, who played it across. They kept it alive through White, who laid it off to Ødegaard, and then Ødegaard fired it over the bar. It was actually Edison that got that. Here is Declan Rice, who's won it back. Feeds through Martinelli. Martinelli takes the strike straight at Edison. Arsenal have a spring in their step at the moment. They've got so much energy, and Martinelli seems to have brought that extra bit of pace, that bit of energy, that bit of drive in the Arsenal attack that they lacked in the first half, and that's their first shot on target, I believe. Sorry, their second shot on target of the game. So 2 in the space of this half alone. Shows that there's more attacking intent from Arsenal. We have an update from the NFL. I said that it was a tight game between the Jaguars and the Bills. The Bills got a touchdown and got back in it, but the Jaguars have gone up the other end and scored on their drive. 25-13 they now lead the Buffalo Bills in the London game, with seconds or so, 2 minutes 55 to go in that one. They'll be hitting the 2-minute warning very shortly. Very tight end to that game, but the Jaguars have a bit of breathing room at the moment. 25-13. Here's David Raya then for Arsenal. Fires it out from the back, trying to find Jesus. Well won by Vardiol. Foden battling with White, and White just doing a bit too much against Phil Foden there and committing the foul and allowing and giving City the free kick. Arsenal or City go all the way back to Edison from that free kick then. Trying to find a pass forward, Edison. Lifts it forward, trying to find Haaland, who flicks it on, but Zinchenko there to break it apart for Arsenal. Rice now out wide, making the lovely run is Nketiah. Zinchenko made the run through the middle. Nketiah couldn't get it to him. Walker battling him. Nketiah. Jorginho now finds Saliba. Down the right hand side is Jesus. Up against Vardiol. Jesus trying to feed one through, but that hit goes all the way through for Edison to just collect and pick up. Game's got more tempo in it early in this second half. Credit to Arsenal for adding the energy and the pace into the game that it lacked in the first half. Martinelli with a press. Edison giving it wide to Ake, but Ake was challenged there by Jesus and said he just about keep the ball. Here's Vardiol on the break. Good defending, good covering by Ben White, who gives it back to Saliba, and now Raya. Gabriel pressured by Alvarez, but he has the option of Zinchenko, which he finds. And they switch it out to the right for White. Really lovely football by Arsenal. They're not at all afraid of Manchester City. Ball from the back for Jorginho. That one out to the left hand side, but no one out there. Martinelli made the run through the middle, so there was no one there to capture that ball for Arsenal, and it will run for a City throw. Kyle Walker to take. Walker is taking his time. Lovely interception from Zinchenko, another City throw in. Mikel Arteta was getting a bit impatient with Kyle Walker, taking his time with those throw-ins. Arteta's really gesturing to the referee that he's taken too much room there, gone too far forward. He take the throw in. Silva, back to Diaz, now Edison. Laying it out from the back, lovely spread of the ball to find Vardiol. Foden. Foden battling, losing out. Arsenal win it back, but the free kick's been given, has it? Jesus. Going down. There was only a collision. The referee's played advantage. Here's Odegaard. Flicks it in behind. Nketiah in the box. He's got an option of Rice. Nketiah battling with Diaz. And really strong City defending. Denies Arsenal that one. Lovely challenging again, but City have the ball. Arsenal putting in the challenges, not afraid to. Rice challenging, but Bernardo Silva picks up the loose one. Here's Rico Lewis on the break. We have an update from the London game in the NFL. We'll get that in a moment. Lewis goes down. Referee was going to give a free kick. The net. Rico Lewis went straight through there. Didn't hear the referee's whistle. See this again. They go on the break, City. I was so confused to what happened. Bernardo Silva. Lewis on the break. He gets taken down by Martinelli, but then in the process, is there a handball? Martinelli just challenging him. Goes to ground too easy. Sliding across. And then handballs it. Yeah, I thought that was the case. That he'd handled the ball. And that is a fair decision by the referee. So free kick's gone Arsenal's way. We have an update from the London game. It's back and forth, end to end at the moment. Our City have the free kick. They've been brought back for that free kick, by the way. The Buffalo Bills have scored another touchdown. It's 25-20 in that one. Fantastic. What a great excitement into the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the final quarter. City take the free kick. Cleared away by Arsenal. Foden tries to follow it up. Alvarez brought down by Kovacic. Flicked on by Diaz. But straight into the hands of David Raya. Confident goalkeeping from him. Saliba. Jorginho. Across to Gabriel. Jorginho. Well, this will be interesting as the game goes on. And the longer it goes on and the more tired these players get, will the game open up a bit more and we'll see a bit more attacking threat? Because so far I haven't seen much from City, really. You know, we talk about City and having so many clear-cut chances and opportunities, but I can't say that they've had mad amounts of them, or a decent amount of them so far this game. Vardiol wins it off Arsenal there. Well, in the second half so far, Arsenal have had more of the ball, 56% to 44 in City. Arsenal had 2 shots, 1 on target, 4 touches in the opposition box. City haven't had a single shot in the half yet. Walker finds the ball all the way through to Haaland. Now Alvarez. City bursting forward. Here's Josko Vardiol. Vardiol with a cross, trying to find Foden. It falls back. Alvarez blocked. Kept alive by Kovacic. Walker. Looked like he was going for one there, but opted against it. Bernardo Silva. Ake. Good recovery from Arsenal, really, because they looked they looked to be carved open there by City, and they recovered the ball really, really well. Got into their positions and made sure City didn't have an opening. But here's Erling Haaland trying to find the opening. He does slip at the last second, though. Rice can pick it up. Jesus. Jorginho. Saliba. Sorry, Ben White it is, actually. Ben White. Odegaard. Back to White. Now Martin Odegaard. To Rice. Back to White. Arsenal passing it around in their own half at the moment. Saliba across to Raya, now across to Gabriel, and now Zinchenko. City having them penned in at the moment. Gabriel goes long. That one will just run out for a Manchester City throw-in. Here's Ruben Dias. Bernardo Silva. Dias to Walker. Back to Ruben Dias. Well, of course, both teams were in European action in midweek, of course. Arsenal defeat in the Champions League to Lens away from home. Manchester City winning on the road in the Champions League away at RB Leipzig in their group before coming into this one this weekend. Of course, the international break follows this game. This is the last game before the international break, of course, obviously. Oh, coming back with a banger. The Merseyside Derby's the first Premier League game back after the international break. What a game that is set up to be at Anfield. We'll have a look. We'll look forward to that when it comes around. Diaz tried to play the ball through. Arsenal break it apart. Here's Odegaard. Trying to foray forward. Has to go back to White to open up the spaces. Here's Jesus down the right hand side. Gabriel Jesus has the burst of pace. Gives it out wide for Rice, who's made the run beyond. Rice on the right flank. And to link it up with White. Kept the ball, did Declan Rice in the end. Jorginho. Saliba. Jorginho. Martin Odegaard. 30 minutes plus additional time to go. 0-0. Still a long, long way to go for action and drama and excitement in this game here in terms of goal scoring. Jorginho. Zinchenko. Really seems like the first goal is a big kind of statement in this match. Whoever does score it, the kind of the pendulum of momentum would swing in their favour, and that's what makes it so monumental. Here's Ben White though. Jesus flicked it back for White. Lovely link up. White cuts it back to Odegaard. Odegaard taking the strike, bit of a deflection, cleared away. Jorginho keeps it alive. Jesus now. Gabriel Jesus plays it across. Zinchenko. Out to the left is Martinelli. Up against Walker. Gabriel Martinelli. Back to Zinchenko. Goes for the cross. Whips one across. Vardiol's header's not clear. White keeps it alive. Jesus, lovely first touch. Jesus trying to cut it back. Flicked across. Just goes off a player, a City player in there. Ake, I think it was. Goes wide for the corner. Really, really good again from Arsenal. City have so many bodies in there and such tight spaces, but the first touch from Jesus is perfect to put the City under pressure and force the corner. Odegaard to take then. Whips it in. Deep one. Half cleared by City again. Second one does clear it, and then it falls to Zinchenko, who strikes it all the way through, high and wide. That one. Poor that from Ollie Zinchenko. Well, Mikel Arteta has faced 24 different teams as a Premier League manager. He has beaten 23 out of the 24. The only team yet to beat for Mikel Arteta as a Premier League manager is Manchester City. That is some stat, that is. Really, that is fantastic. Because they've yet to play Luton, of course, which would become 25th in that list. City are readying some changes. Going to make triple changes here, Pep Guardiola. Bringing on some fresh legs to reinvigorate this City team. City attack. Still a long, long way to go. And This game can change in an instant. Ake, back to Edison. I'll confirm those changes once they've happened for you. Edison, lovely ball to find Alvarez. In a bit of space here. Foden, trying to feed it through for Haaland. Heavy first touch. Does get it off to Vardiol. They're going to switch it, but that's really wayward by Vardiol. Walker does manage to keep it in, though. Walker, now Bernardo Silva. Ake. Lewis finds Kovacic, now back to Nathan Ake. Bernardo Silva. Cross to Diaz. Now Rico Lewis. City just being patient, trying to break Arsenal down, but they've been very, very compact. The Arsenal defensive unit at the moment. Piling bodies defensively, ball into the box. Lewis was there, but Ben White was there to head it behind for the corner. Lewis was clearly enough of a threat that Arsenal had to clear it away. And they now have a corner, Manchester City. And I don't think Pep Guardiola's going to make those changes just yet. They're going to make those changes in a moment, but I would say after this set piece. So corner for Manchester City on the left-hand side. In-swinger, right-footed, whipped in. Raya with a punch. Clears it away, and then that's followed up by Martinelli. Walker recycling it and goes all the way back to Edison inside his own 18-yard box. Arsenal have done well in that front this afternoon. City have had 3 corners and they've dealt with all of them. They've cleared them all away. I think it has finished in that NFL London game. I'll just get the confirmation of that for you in a second once I've got full details on that. I think it has. Last 25 minutes then of this one. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. It has now finished in that NFL London game. Big game. And the Jacksonville Jaguars see it over the line. The Bills beaten in London. That's their second defeat of the season. 3-2 their record. And the Jaguars go to 3-2 on their record as well. 25-20 the final score from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Fascinating. Well, as it stands, we're talking about records and kind of starts to a season. Manchester City and Arsenal, neither of them will go top of the Premier League table with the draw. They will sit second and third, with City second and Arsenal third. 19 and 18 points respectively. Tottenham will stay top of the Premier League table. If this result stays as it is. Foden trying to thread it through for Haaland. Half cleared by White. Foden keeps it alive, trying to get past Saliba. Lovely from Jesus. Tracking back and helping out defensively. And winning aside a throw-in. A win would only put either of these two teams on the top of the Premier League table. Which we're yet to see at the moment. Let's see those changes then. Rico Lewis is the first substitution for Manchester City. He's being replaced in that kind of defensive midfield role by John Stones. The second substitution, Kovacic, is eventually coming off, but by Pep Guardiola taking him off, not being sent off. He is being replaced by Matheus Nunes. And the third and final substitution for the moment for City is the replacement of Julian Alvarez, and he is being replaced by Jeremy Doku. So Doku, Nunes and Stones on, replacing Lewis, Kovacic and Alvarez. 3 substitutions then for Manchester City. Absolutely fascinating. They've got some embarrassment of riches on their bench. Arsenal also do have a strong bench today. I was kind of intrigued by their defence in terms of attacking positions. Reece Nelson, Kai Havertz, Fabio Vieira, Emile Smith-Rowe. Some good attacking players in there. Thomas Partey's also back on the bench for Arsenal today, if they need to go to that position. At the moment, that Mikel Arteta is happy with his current team. Here's Jeremy Doku with his first touch on the right flank, up against Zinchenko. Zinchenko does really well to win that challenge. And Rice with the long clearance. Diaz wins the first header, brings it down to Walker. Now here's John Stones with his first involvement of the game. To Bernardo Silva, now Jeremy Doku on the right hand side. Doku trying to take it to Zinchenko again, chops back, plays the ball in, cleared away that time by Jorginho. Walker, Diaz. It'll be interesting to see with these changes, City, they will be reignited. How will Arsenal deal with it the other way? Stones to Walker, back to Nathan Ake. Vardiol, Bernardo Silva to Stones. Stones has a bit of space to run into, but he's given it away. Stolen by Jesus. Now Martin Odegaard. Bit of confusion there from me. Ben White. Back in field is Jorginho. Rice. Jorginho. Back to Saliba. Well, Arsenal are also going to go to their bench. I mentioned their options on the bench. City blinked first in Pep Guardiola, and they made their 3 substitutions. Arsenal are going to follow suit and make a triple change of their own in a moment. Any moment now, that would be for Mikel Arteta. Well, Martinelli trying to spin away from Walker, and Walker committing that challenge and that foul, and that will be a free kick to Arsenal. The ball from Gabriel to find Gabriel Martinelli. Tried to spin away from Walker, and Walker just challenging him. Trying to win the ball there, Kyle Walker, but does leave something on Gabriel Martinelli, and that is the free kick for Arsenal. Last 20 minutes now of this one. Just spotting the changes from Arsenal. A glimpse of them. Tomiyasu and Partey amongst them. We will see who there will be replacing in a moment. Here's David Raya. Jorginho. Gabriel. Raya out of his goal under pressure. Gives it wide to Gabriel, who fires long. City will win the ball back through that Arsenal clearance. Diaz. Ake. Ruben Diaz. To Walker. Down the line to Doku. Challenged by Zinchenko and won it back. Rice. Odegaard on the spin, but good covering by Nunez to win it back for City. Here's Ake. Stones. Pressure from Nketiah, but finds Diaz. Now John Stones again. Round the corner to find Silva. Bernardo Silva trying to lift it through the midfield, but Arsenal breaking that apart. Lovely from Jesus again. Jesus winning it and running with the ball here. He's got options ahead. Martinelli on the trying to get past Walker, but really good defending by Kyle Walker. Spotted the danger and intercepted the ball and won it back for Manchester City. Nathan Ake. Foden to Nunez. Nunez has to go back to Nathan Ake. Well, they're just going to make a switch here, Manchester City. Not in terms of personnel, but Jeremy Doku has just switched sides. He's gone over to the left-hand side, and Foden will make his way over to the right in a moment, it seems. Here is Phil Foden. He's playing central for the second. But we have this ball. Here's Doku down the left-hand side, up against White. Jeremy Doku, just as that change was made, making the drive towards Ben White, and Ben White makes the challenge, puts it out for the corner. So obviously Pep Guardiola wanting to give Arsenal something else to think about that Arsenal defence. Switching his wingers. They have a set piece here, Arsenal, to defend. They're not going to make those changes just yet, I believe. We're going to wait until after this this corner is taken from City. Mateus Nunes to take the corner. On the left-hand side, right-footed, it will be in swinging. If he takes it long, he will. Whips it in and straight into the hands of David Raya. Strong goalkeeping from Raya again. Lays it off to Zinchenko, rolls it out to him, trying to get them forward. Down the left-hand side is Gabriel Martinelli. Trying to speed past Walker. Speed past Walker is something many players don't do. He chops back, lovely from Martinelli. Switches it across. Ødegaard has options. Ødegaard goes for the wrong one because he takes the strike from distance, which is a poor one from Ødegaard to do. Shouldn't have done that, really. Kind of a waste of possession there from Arsenal. Substitutions then. Alexander Zinchenko, his day is over against his former club. He's making way for Takehiro Tomiyasu at fullback. Also coming off is Eddie Nketiah. He is going to be replaced by Kai Havertz. And the third substitution from Arsenal is Thomas Partey. Will be coming on in midfield, and he will be replacing Jorginho. So a triple change from Arsenal after that half-time change as well. So that's 4 in total for Arsenal they've had this game. One more opportunity to make, or 2 more opportunities to make one, but they've 1 sub left. With Nketiah, Jorginho and Zinchenko all making way, replaced by Tomiyasu, Havertz and Thomas Partey in the middle. So both teams have made their substitutions. They've played their hands. What cards have they been dealt in these final 15 minutes here at the Emirates? With the scoreline still at 0-0. Foden. Loose ball. Stolen away by Jesus. Here he is. Here's Gabriel Jesus trying to break forward. Said he trying to crowd out the middle. Cuts it back to Ødegaard. Now to Partey with his first touch. White. Now down the right hand side is Jesus. Back in field is Ben White. Linking up with Ødegaard. Lays it off to the right for Jesus. Trying to take a touch past Vardiol, who defends it well. Battling there. Doku trying to come out from the back. Ødegaard putting in a challenge. Ben White winning the ball. Partey. Now Ødegaard on the right flank. Up against Doku. And he will get the corner off Jeremy Doku. So an Arsenal corner. So Arsenal have a corner. We'll get you an update from the Formula 1. The Qatar Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is out. A safety car after the first lap. Lewis Hamilton is in the gravel. Baffling. Right, corner Arsenal on the right hand side. Ødegaard to whip it in, left footed, right across, half away. Followed up by Doku. Partey keeps it alive. Rice. Ødegaard trying to link it up with Rice again. Doku defensively getting it away from the Arsenal midfielder. And Doku just overruns that one. Wanted a free kick. The referee said no. Arsenal will get the throw in. Here is Partey. Back to Saliba. Thomas Partey. Out to the right hand side. Ben White. Linking up with Jesus. And now Gabriel. Down the left flank is Tomiyasu. His first foray forward. Has to go back to Gabriel. Rice. Now Martinelli. Back in field to Rice. Across to Saliba. Partey. Bit of space in the middle for Partey to move. Finds it out wide to Rice. Out to the left flank is Tomiyasu. Back in field to Martinelli. Lifts one into the box. Does Martinelli. Back post. Jesus trying to control it. Does control it. Still alive. Arsenal getting closer. Jesus' ball though is a bit misplaced. He tries to win it back. He does win it back, but in the process is deemed to have fouled a City player, and City will get the free kick to take the pressure off the defence there. Well, I've just seen the replay of that Lewis Hamilton bit of drama, why he's out of the Qatar Grand Prix, and it was his own teammate, George Russell, that took out Lewis Hamilton going into turn 1, and Lewis Hamilton lost his right back wheel. Mad, the tyre is gone. My goodness me. Dramatic start to the Qatar Grand Prix. City playing it out from the back. Edison giving it away. Arsenal have a throw-in. This is where it gets touchy. This is where it gets nervy for both teams. When the stakes are this high at this stage of the game, where one goal could completely change the outcome. Well, obviously, because it could be a winner at this stage of the game. With the lack of attacking threat that we've seen from both teams, really. It's been more of a battle of possession and half chances, if that, in this game. Winning corners and set pieces. We've only had one shot at target apiece for each team. Arsenal have had far more shots than City. 11 shots from Arsenal to City's 4, but both only finding one on target. These are the crucial last 10 minutes or so, plus the additional time as well. Nunes. Ake to Diaz. Nunes. Here's Nunes. Trying to drive through, does well. Linking up with Haaland. Here's Mateus Nunes. Lovely challenge by Declan Rice. Got all of the ball and won it back for Arsenal. Now Martinelli. Heavy touch, overrun it. Doku wins it back. Bit end to end. That's what I mean. Both teams fighting for possession and to get forward, but neither team really completing those attacking moves enough. That's credit to both defences as well. Vardiol. Back to Ake. City inside the Arsenal half. All City players except Edison. Foden, though, gives away the ball. Jesus, heavy touch, and Nunes wins it back again. Bernardo Silva for City. Nunes. Out to the right is Walker. Back to Nunes. Then back to Diaz. Nunes. Back to Ruben Diaz. Well, all three other games in the Premier League this afternoon, all the early kickoffs ended in a draw. Where Liverpool and Brighton drawing at the Amex, West Ham, Newcastle drawing at the London Stadium, and Wolves Villa drawing at Molineux. Will we have 4 from 4 on the day? 4 draws out of 4 games? Or is there one chance or one set of attacks to score a winner for either of these two teams? It is on a knife edge. Walker with a throw, trying to find Haaland. Does take a nice first touch, Haaland, and Foden following it up. Man City thought they had a corner there. Thought Rice had the last touch, but it came off Foden last. So goal kick will go Arsenal's way. Pep Guardiola a bit frustrated, I would have to say. That's the best way to put it at the moment. Arsenal have had much more touches in the opposition box. 22 touches in City's box than City have had in theirs. City have had 15 inside the Arsenal box. That's 7 more for Arsenal. Finding the spaces in the 18-yard box of City a bit more than City are in theirs. And I think the referee, other than that Kovacic calamity, he's refereed this game pretty well in the second half. Games don't get kind of reviewed on halves the whole game, and I think VAR and the referee completely missed a trick. But I'm grateful in the end. The only positive you can see out of it is that we've had a competitive game 11v11, and that another game hasn't been ruined by a red card But by the letter of the law, he should have been off, Kovacic. But I'll stop complaining. Havertz. Ødegaard, lovely flicks. Find Jesus on the right flank. On the right hand side, back to Partey. Partey, out wide to Jesus. Back to Saliba. Thomas Partey. All on this right hand side at the moment, Arsenal. Ødegaard. And a flick it round to find Jesus. Takes a touch off Doku. Throw in to the home side. Lovely link up. Havertz lays it off to Ødegaard. Ødegaard flicks it on for Jesus. Jesus in the box, goes down. Is there a penalty? No. Referee waves it away. Frantic from that throw in. They're going to stop and have a check of this VAR though. See this again. Flick back by Ødegaard. Jesus runs forward. Ake does get a touch on Jesus. See it again. Whether it's enough for a penalty, I'm not too sure. And that's what VAR have decided. I wasn't too sure about that one. There's not much contact, really. Ake does go in for the challenge, but there's not much contact. So I don't think that would be... I think they've got that right there, VAR, not giving a penalty. But Arsenal still look so dangerous. So threatening. Not from that position. Raya has just played the ball out from the back and has put it straight out of play for a City throw. 5 minutes plus additional time to go. Still 0-0 in this one. Martinelli wins the throw in off Foden. The home crowd trying to jeer their side on, gee them on and get them over the line for a win. They did it against Manchester United. That's one key moment that we can talk about from Arsenal at home this season. You couldn't get them over the line against Tottenham though, in a huge game. And this is probably one of the most monumental games of Arsenal's home season. Lovely ball from the back. Tomiyasu laying it off. Havertz lays it off to Martinelli, takes a deflection! And Arsenal have the breakthrough! It's a deflection, wicked off Nathan Ake. Gabriel Martinelli will not care one bit because Arsenal have the lead. They have fought ever so hard for it in this second half. They've lacked the attacking quality, but a deflection from the highest order, from the most cruel of situations, and Gabriel Martinelli's strike deflects off Nathan Ake and goes right past Edison into the City net, and City could be heading to their second successive Premier League defeat in almost 5 years. I spoke about how monumental that goal would be if it came, and this place has erupted. The Emirates has gone wild. It's a long ball. Tomiyasu causes panic in the City defence. They can't get it away. Havertz lays it off to the edge of the box for Martinelli, who just takes a lovely first touch at it. Strikes it first time. Takes an awfully wicked deflection off Nathan Ake, and it fires past Edison, off the face of Nathan Ake, and into the into the City net to put Arsenal 1-0 to the good. With only minutes remaining, Arteta goes wild. The crowd inside at the Emirates goes wild because this means so much to Arsenal. Horrible defeats to City, both home and away last season, denied them a Premier League title for the first time in 19 years. But this could be their moment. Pep Guardiola has never been beaten by his former compatriot in Mikel Arteta. But this could be Arsenal's moment. We spoke about how impactful that Rodri has been for City when he's been in the side, and how much of a miss he is in that City midfield. No Kevin De Bruyne as well. This was probably Arsenal's best chance at beating City, and they seem to be grasping at it and are clutching at it here, but very, very close to doing it. My goodness me. That is what we love in the Premier League. Not only are Arsenal on the verge of their first win against Manchester City in the league in almost 8 years, but they're on the verge of breaking a record that City have held for almost 5 years, where when they lose a Premier League game, they bounce right back and avoid defeat in the second game after defeat. But 1-0 with minutes to go could see City 2 defeats in a row for the first time since December 2018. It's crazy to think that Mikel Arteta wasn't even the Arsenal manager back then. It was that far back. City were the Centurions back then. The last time they lost 2 back-to-back Premier League games. But I spoke about how narrow Arsenal's last win against City was, that 2-1 win here at the Emirates in December 2015. This one has been on such a knife edge. Both sides haven't done enough in attack all day, and it was always going to be something crazy, something spectacular that was going to win this game for either side in the end. And it now seems like City are going to be on the verge of that defeat. Here's Jesus up against Vardiol. Jesus, Havertz. Stolen back by Doku, but Odegaard wins it back. As we surpass the 90 minutes, we will have 4 additional to play. Nearly there. But still time for anything. Raya with the ball out from the back, but Walker recovers it and gives it to Edison. On top of 2 successive defeats in the Premier League, it will be a 3rd successive domestic defeat. Their only 3 defeats of the season would be on the bounce in domestic competitions. 2 in the league and 1 in the cup. Foden. City still have time. They want to try and scramble a point if they can. Doku. Back to Vardiol. Trying to feed it through for Doku, but Vardiol overhits that one. And that will run for an Arsenal goal kick, which gets a right cheer from the home crowd. Odegaard making sure that the tempo and the atmosphere inside this stadium stays as it is. No doubt that will. City fans in shock. Well, this serves them right. I'm joking. My goodness me. How long Arsenal have been longing for this moment. Not only Mikel Arteta against his former mentor in Pep Guardiola, but also Mikel Arteta against Manchester City as a whole. The club he used to assistant coach. And his first ever managerial job. He's on the verge of beating his former mentor that allowed him to come and take this position. And look where he's come. From a 5-0 defeat here early in the 2021-22 season to now on the verge of beating the treble winners in 2023. Havertz holding the ball at the corner flag, still alive, both teams battling for it. Did go over the line for a City throw. Around about 90 seconds left. Edison trying to win the ball back, and Jesus' theatrics are plenty, of course, as always. Love that. The referee just putting out a yellow card, giving out a few yellow cards here. I think both Jesus and Edison have been given a yellow card, I think. Yeah, Jesus for kicking the ball away. And Edison with the challenge. That's the craziest part of this game I've seen. Edison's second booking of the season. Jesus also in the book for his kicking the ball away. It's his second booking of the season. Arsenal booted away into the stands. City have a throw in. Last minute of the 94. It's do or die, now or never for Manchester City. Edison with a long ball. right the way through. They will all leave it because David Raya knows it's coming to him, and he will control it in his own box and just take the ball up into his hands, and looks to be leading his side to their 6th win of the season, and looking to take them not back top of the table, because they would need a 2-goal scoreline for that, but they will be level on top with Tottenham, the only 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the Premier League. Waiting on the final whistle. Vardiol puts it out for an Arsenal throw. Waiting on Michael Oliver. And that's the final whistle. That is it. Mikel Arteta has finally done it. It has taken a really long time to do so in the league, but Arsenal finally, under Mikel Arteta, have got the better of Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Such the pain and the heartache that Arsenal felt against City last season in that title race. They just fell apart at the end, but they've started this season incredibly, ready to go again, and they finally have that victory over their fierce rivals in terms of trophy hunting. Pep Guardiola beaten for the 2nd time in a week with his side in the league. City will bounce back as always, but it's defeat on the road for the 2nd consecutive week in the Premier League. That breaks a 5-year record that City had of not losing back-to-back league games. But this huge win cannot be understated. How important this is to Arsenal, but also how important this is to how competitive the Premier League can be. That anyone can beat anyone on their day. And Arsenal worked ever so hard, both in defence and in attack, and they just got their reward in the end. City will be heartbroken. They will be beaten. But they will always bounce back under Pep Guardiola. But tonight, it's Arsenal's night in North London. It's the North London teams that dominate the Premier League at the moment. But in the end, it's Arsenal's day here in North London. They finally have that win over Manchester City. Full-time score, Arsenal 1, Manchester City 0.